Hello, 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 sellers. It's Kathy, and I love to be selling. Come on in, sellers. Come on in, come on in. I am going to be sharing a gold mine. I should have a gold bar, right? A gold mine for you. This works, this works, this works. This is an inventory gold mine I'm going to reveal. And the strategy that I'm going to share with you that you can absolutely do, and you can be anywhere in the United States to do this. It's just going to take a little bit of thinking, but I know you can do that. It will make consistent profits. So this is an inventory gold mine for eBay sellers, and it's an inventory gold mine that will make you consistent profits. And that's what's so interesting. So that's what I'm going to be sharing with you. And what I'm going to be sharing and talking about, you'll listen to people and they're showing you great things. You know, they've got their carts and they're going up and down the aisles at Goodwill or Savers, or they're at a flea market or an outdoor fair, whatever it is. And they're showing you things that they're sourcing for eBay or for other places that they sell. And they're great, but you don't have access to that. It's like I'm looking at this person going through Savers, but I don't have any Savers in my area. Or I see somebody going through Salvation Army, or I see somebody at these great outdoor flea markets, but you may not have that in your area. So what I do, and I do it here on my Facebook business page. I love to be selling, so thank you for everyone who follows me there. And I share it in my YouTube, Kathy Terrell YouTube. Thanks so much for subscribing. I appreciate it. If you're listening on my YouTube, please do hit subscribe. And on my podcast, Kathy Terrell, I love to be selling. So I share these tips. And the tips that I share, I endeavor to share things that can be done anywhere in the United States, whether you are rural, whether you are urban, whether you are in the northern part of the United States, the southern, the east, the west, tips that can be used for sourcing. And I also do a lot of business policies, things about eBay selling, business policies about eBay selling that will help you with your eBay search. Because you can source great products, and that's what we're going to be focusing on today. But you want to source them, yay, but then create a really enticing listing, right? Because if the listing isn't enticing, you're going to lose views, and we don't want that to happen. But let's talk about sourcing really great products and a gold mine for sourcing really great products. So again, you'll see people and they're showing you their sourcing. Some people retail arbitrage. I was watching somebody and they go to outlet stores, which is great. Another seller was sharing that they buy like closeouts, and they'll literally drive 2 and 3 hours to buy closeouts that they're finding through online auctions because the area they're in doesn't have a lot of great inventory. I think that's great. It's like finding the inventory sourcing that works for you. Some people, it's physical, it's going into thrift stores. Other people, like we're into the summer, this is June of 2024, they're huge on yard sales. I'm in New York City, so I do a lot of what's called retail arbitrage, which is I go into stores. So I go into a Macy's, I go into a Nordstrom, I go into an Old Navy, and I hit the clearance racks. I go right for the clearance racks just to see what's there. So one is I encourage you to source, like look around, what inventory sources are available to you. Okay. And then this category I want to point out to you because it's a huge category and it's one you can be anywhere in the United States. And the other thing is, for a lot of people, this may be a category where you inherit. I've worked with sellers. Actually, I just had a friend that just had this where they literally inherited a house full of this. And then they sold it because it wasn't something that they were going to keep for themselves. So let me just show you this. So what we're going to talk about is vintage kitchen. And vintage kitchen is a category that is huge, highly successful, and can be sourced in a lot of different ways all across the United States and around the world. And then within vintage kitchen, I'm going to show you a micro niche. Okay. So when you're looking at a category, let's say like athletic apparel, there's like the broad category of athletic apparel, which is like Nike, Adidas, Lululemon, Athleta. And then what I find helpful is to find a micro niche. So yes, we see the broad category, right? And you're like, Kathy, you know, you may be aware of vintage kitchen, but then in vintage kitchen, what are some things that might be getting overlooked by other sellers that I can source where there's not as much competition and it's highly successful? When I work with sellers in my membership, love to be selling insider with private clients one-on-one, this is what we really work on is what is the category they're selling in, and then how can we find really successful micro niches for them to sell in where there's less competition, but still is very lucrative that you're going to be selling well. So let's take a look at vintage kitchen. If you're not aware of how broad this category is, I want to show it to you. And I'm using Terapeak, which is now called product research. Everybody has product research. Okay. You have it on your app. Thank you, eBay. It's on the app with data now going back 2 years. You also have it on desktop, and I'm going to be on desktop. On desktop, it's going back 3 years. But I'm going to be looking at more recent data, and I'll explain why. So here we are in product research, and I have searched vintage kitchen, and I have searched the last 90 days. And the reason I have done that is when you search the last 90 days in product research or less, you get the sell-through rate. And the sell-through rate in vintage kitchen is 10.87, which is good. That is a good sell-through rate. You will also see there's an enormous amount of sellers in vintage kitchen, which tells me this is a category that a lot of people can source. So I want to keep an eye out for this. This may be something that I'm overlooking because I'm looking at women's clothing, because I'm looking at sneakers, because I'm looking at jewelry, and I am forgetting about vintage kitchen, which is a large and very profitable and very successful category on eBay. Sell-through rate 10.8 with 23,000 sellers, which means I have competition. So once I source my lovely vintage kitchen, I'm going to want to spend some time creating great listings. But first, let's just look at the vintage kitchen category and this sell-through rate. Okay, so I'm scrolling down, so I'm going, good. It sells, it has a good sell-through rate, but I do have competition. What sells in vintage kitchen? And this is what is fun. A metal sign poster, a table, sink, faucet, tile, ceiling light, okay? Decals, cast iron wall mount, a beer sign, wall lamps, more decals, a vintage clock. And I saw several nice vintage clocks. So definitely when you're out and about, take a look at vintage clocks, okay? Because these definitely sell in the vintage kitchen category, okay? Also look for vintage kitchen timers. People like that too, okay? But literally you can scroll right through this. You can be sorting by price. Look at the salt and pepper shakers. Bird figurines. Look at the keywords on these things, okay? Branch, statue, vintage style decor. More stickers, ceramic vintage pumpkin doorknobs, okay? So a lot of variety in here. So when you're outsourcing, whether you are sourcing at thrift stores, whether you are sourcing at yard sales, because we're in yard sale, look at the kitchen. And many times, sometimes when you go to estate sales, they'll have things by the room, right? And oftentimes people run like right for the bedrooms or right for the living rooms, you know, because they want to look at the clothing or they want to look at the toys. Go to the kitchen. Take a look at, again, doorknobs, hardware, signs, wall mounts, all these different things are selling, and you go through again with a lovely, lovely, lovely sell-through rate. So now we're looking at vintage kitchen. Then we start to think, okay, this is a good sell-through rate, and this is something that I can source. So I'm definitely adding this to my keep an eye out for my vintage kitchen. And if you have unlisted inventory, go through it and start listing your vintage kitchen, because 10% sell-through rate is a nice sell-through rate, and get busy listing. Okay. Now, I promised you a micro niche. And again, if you're not aware of this, what a micro niche is I go into a big category, vintage kitchen, big category, and I find a smaller subcategory that is popular, less competition, that I can source. And my subcategory for vintage kitchen that is very good, and I'm even going to tell you how I found it, is, hang on a second, because let me pull this up, is kitsch, Kitsch, vintage kitsch. And if you're not aware of this term, it is big. It is a trending term. And I'm going to show you vintage kitsch. So hang on a second. I'm going to pull it up. And there we go. Okay, hang on a second. And I'm going to show you why you want to do micro niches. Be aware of micro niches within the big niches. Is take a look at this. So vintage kitsch, remember we had vintage kitchen with 23,000 people selling? Look at this. As soon as I use the keyword kitsch, K-I-T-S-C-H, look at this. We're down to 120 sellers with a 12% sell-through rate. This is big. This is really, really good. But caveat to this is you need to understand what kitsch is, right? Because it's like not everything is kitsch. So first of all, you're going to scroll through and take a look at these because there's some really lovely things in here. Okay. So we've got kitsch tiles, food graphics, a plastic bag holder. Oh, this is fun with like a doll face. This is great. Mushroom clock. I love this stuff. Definitely very, very kitsch. So it's like, okay, what is this vintage kitchen kitsch? And say that one fast. It is a trend. And the way I discovered it was using Pinterest trends. You do not need to actively pin on Pinterest to get access to Pinterest trends, but you do need to have a Pinterest account. So you're going to log into Pinterest, and I'm going to show you my Pinterest. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. Now, I do have a business account, which is free. So if you don't have a business account, it might look a little different. But I did search on the internet, and Pinterest says that everybody gets access to Pinterest trends. Okay. So let me show you this. So you're going to log into Pinterest. And when you log into Pinterest, you have a hub, very, similar to eBay. And what you're going to look for in this hub at the top, see underneath analytics, which is why you might need a business account. So if your regular Pinterest doesn't show this, just opt into a business account. It doesn't cost you any money. When I did search it on the internet, they said everybody has it, but you never know, like if they changed. But anyway, so look at Pinterest trends. And then when I click on Pinterest trends, I'm going to see if this comes up. And I've got a couple little searchy things on my account. So hang on a second. Let me just see if this comes up. Yeah, it is coming up. Okay, good. Pinterest trends. See, it's populating. And it's going to show me trends in the US. We're going to keep scrolling by this. And what we're looking for is this trends we expect in 2024. This is Pinterest trend report. This is very, very good. And what you're going to do then is click in on the Pinterest predicts. And kitchen kitsch is in here. I spotted this about, they brought this out, I'm going to say late 2023. You're going to click explore trends. And they have all these fun images for you. Okay. And just to make it interesting for your life, and you just scroll here. They got tropical. Here we are. Kitchens. This is kitschy kitchens. Look at this. And the reason I say to come over to Pinterest, the reason I like Pinterest is because it's a visual platform. And if you're not used to what kitchen kitsch looks like and what it, what constitutes kitchen kitsch, because you want to use your keywords appropriately, just hop onto Pinterest, search kitchen kitsch. You can also search it on eBay, but I prefer Pinterest. There's just a bigger variety. And then scroll through and look at what Pinterest says is kitchen kitschy. Okay. And they got a bunch. So here's the ones they just here. You got colors. Okay. They're giving you advertisers. So we're going to shop the trend. And it's going to populate kitchen kitsch. And again, the reason I'm doing this is so I visually see the colors that are kitchen kitsch, the styles that are kitchen kitsch, so I can recognize it in my items. So kitchen kitsch, oh, it didn't show it there. Let me just pull it up. Is very bright, very vivid, very retro. And I'm using my language. Hang on a second. Is it here? There we go. So this is what Pinterest is showing as kitchen kitsch. Look at this. We got bananas. We got bright colors. Very retro vibe. Very sort of fun. Look at this. Raviolis or pasta handles. I see a lot of shape. I see a lot of color. Look at this. The Libby glasses. And these looks like throwback from Target. So be careful with the kitsch, whether it's modern or whether it's true vintage. Look at this. Flamingos. So flamingos are kitchen kitsch. We got a cutting board here with a lot of color. Again, it's very retro vibe, very colorful. So that's your kitchen kitsch. So when you've got your vintage kitchen, if it is kitchen kitsch, and again, go through eBay and look on Pinterest. You can certainly search the internet. But remember, you want to be doing this quickly, so this isn't taking up hours and hours. But you get an idea. It's retro vibe. It's very colorful. It's very colorful. It's very eclectic. That's kitchen kitsch. Less sellers because it's a very specific keyword. Good sell-through rate. So vintage kitchen, which can be sourced a lot of different places, a lot of different ways, a lot of different things are vintage kitchen. It's the towels, it's the pot holders, utensils. It will also be servingware, bakeware, all the accessories around your kitchen. All of this is kitchen vintage. The signs are kitchen vintage. And then what goes into it also is things like faucets, okay? So keep an eye, timers, clocks, wall decor. Vintage kitchen, over 10% sell-through rate. Kitchen's over 12% with a lot less sellers, and it's on trend. How do I know? Because I look at Pinterest trends, which is put out slightly younger shoppers. Pinterest shoppers tend to be like in their 30s, maybe 40s, but a lot of people shop on Pinterest, so they're really good on trends, especially household trends. So keep an eye on that, okay? But it is a gold mine. Vintage kitchen is a gold mine. It's something that can be sourced everywhere. And then niche down, keep an eye out for those really fun kitschy things and use that keyword. It's a super keyword for you to stand out on eBay. And then do hop over to my website. I love to be selling. You're going to grab top 10 tips to ignite eBay summer sales. It is free is my gift to you because there's absolutely no reason to have any kind of sales slowdown in the summer, and I've got tips to help you with that. Things like looking at good sell-through rates, like the vintage kitchen, using good keywords like kitschy, which is going to get you more traffic, get you more sales. Also, you face less competition, and it turns your inventory into a gold mine. You're attracting the right buyers, you're listing the right items, you're listing things with a good sell-through rate, and you're just going to keep making money and getting wonderful cha-chings all summer long. Tell me about your success with vintage kitchen. I would absolutely love to hear it. Grab my top 10 tips, use it. Let me know your favorite tip. And I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling. Bye-bye, everybody.